Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 15th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session. So I hope you're all feeling nice and relaxed after the weekend. So yep, now it's time to get back into the charts. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, last week I was talking about Nikkei, and especially on Friday, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this this range that Nikkei was trading in, and this morning we can see that. Yep, it managed to open with a huge gap, managed to open outside of this range, above the upper bound of this one, and now it's kind of currently closed below this 22,225 level that I was talking about in one of my previous videos. So basically that's the one that we're going to be keeping a close eye on next. So this is a great move here from Nikkei. Of course, this all creates a bit of a bullish scenario here. So in a way, what could happen here is we could see something like this, basically, where maybe the index would decide to retrace a little bit lower here, maybe even actually fail to drive towards the upper bound to test it from above. And if it fails to do that, and let's say it starts reversing earlier, then yep, we could target higher areas. For those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way wait until we see a push above the 22,225 level. This way the index would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and the next target here for us could be around the 22,585 level, approximately there, and just kind of show you what that level was here in the past. That was the high, near the highs of the 8th of November, so keep your eyes on this one. Of course, slightly above that, we do have the 22,700 level, which is the high, near the highs of November, or the 30th of November, let's put it that way. But again, yep, first let's see what it wants to do with the with this level here, the 22,225, and if we do get a nice push here above this, then yep, we could start targeting higher areas. But again, don't forget that we may see a bit of a retracement here back down, so keep that in mind as well. In terms of the downside, well, if this decides to travel all the way back inside the range again, and if especially we see a daily candle closing below the 21,875 level, which is the upper side of the range here, then well, it could increase the chances for the index to travel further down here, potentially testing the 21,570 level, or even actually going further down. But let's keep this idea as a second scenario. The main scenario for us right now is the upside, but then again, we will wait for confirmation break here before kind of targeting even higher levels. So keep your eyes on this one, looking quite positive here on Nikkei. Let's see if it actually can maintain those gains. Let's jump into Bitcoin now. Bitcoin having a nice rebound here. The only thing is that it's probably performing the best for now among the, if comparing it to Ethereum and especially Ripple. So Ripple is kind of taking a bigger hit, but looking at this picture here on Bitcoin, and I'm looking at the Bitfinex on the Bitfinex exchange. Basically, for us, in order to consider lower areas, we would would need to see a good drop below the 4,950 level here, approximately there. This way we could see maybe this one traveling below its 100 EMA here as well. That's of course looking on the 4-hour chart, and then we could target slightly lower areas like the 4,840 or even the 4,750 zone, approximately there. Slightly below that we do have the 200 EMA here as well, approaching that level, approaching the 4,750. So in a way, for us, let's say to get, yep, as I said, I'll repeat myself, to get more excited with the downside, we need to see a nice good drop below this level right here around the 4,950 level. In terms of the upside, well, again, we'll wait for this one to travel all the way here towards the 5,450 area, approximately there, marked near the highs of April for now, of course. Hopefully, and if we do see a nice good push above this, then yep, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high. We could then target slightly higher areas, and by higher areas I mean the 5,750 level. And just to show you what that level was here in the past, the 5,750 acted as a very good area of resistance here back on the 18th of November. So keep your eyes on this level, but again, we will consider that only if we see a nice good push above the 5,450 level, approximately there. So also the good news could be around here. I mean, we know that the World Bank and the IMF managed to release their own cryptocurrency, which is quite interesting, but that's going to be mainly for research purposes for them. So I doubt that they will be able to trade that. So that's why kind of the crypto world is seeing that as a positive, as a good support for their for their outlook. And yeah, we could see Bitcoin maybe pushing a little bit higher in that. But again, like I said, from the technical picture here, we need to see a nice good push above the 5,450 level first before we could target higher areas. Very quickly jumping into gold, and gold is at a very interesting spot here. So basically last week it did in the beginning of the week, in the first half of the week, it tried to push higher, broke above the psychological 1300 level, traveled higher, kind of failed to reach this level right here near the 1312, and then reversed back down and actually closed the week below the psychological 1300 level. So that's where we're going to be keeping a close eye on this week. So basically for us now, in order to start targeting higher areas, we would like to see initially, of course, a nice good push above the 1295 zone, which acted as a good area of resistance on Friday, but to be honest, for better confirmation of the upside, again, we need to see that push above the psychological 1300 level, and this way the price would accelerate above its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So this could also be seen as a nice positive thing for gold. The next target here would be around the 1306, but to be honest, that could be just a little temporary obstacle. The next target for us could be around the 1310, which marks the high is marked near the highs of last week, but slightly above that. Don't forget, we do have still that 1312 area, which acted as a good area of resistance here back on the 28th of March, and good area of support on the 26th of March. So keep your eyes on this one. If of course that fails to withhold, then you have further acceleration to the upside is possible, but for now it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table, given the strong sell-off that we saw here on Thursday, and then a continuation move down on Friday. But for us, let's say, to consider, or let's say to get even slightly more comfortable with lower areas, we need to see a drop below this area right here near the 1285 zone, 84, something like that, approximately there, which is marked near the lows of the 5th of April. And yep, this way we could then target areas like the 1281, 1279. I do understand that these areas are very close, but to be honest, we do these support levels here previously basically acted as good areas of support. So that's why we're going to go step by step on this one. So our last little target here could be around the 1275, 76, something like that, which marks the low of let me just double check that very quickly here. So near the lows of January this year. So that's why, in order, let's say from the very short-term perspective, if we see a drop below the 1285, then yep, that could open the path towards lower areas, the ones that I've just mentioned. But if the 1276 level breaks, now this is where it could become more exciting for more bears, and we could see this one sliding further down. But we'll get to that point if we see such a move. Jumping into a few pairs now very quickly, and that's euro dollar. So the euro dollar here today, this morning, it's already it tried to push higher, but kind of failed to push above the 113.15 level. Now, of course, it is trading above its pivot today, so which is could be seen as a positive. So in a way, but the current weakness here that we're seeing, we may see something like this, basically where the pair could travel a little bit lower, maybe curve up, and then push higher again to test this level here around the 113.30, which is also not far from this, or should I say, around this downside resistance line, this tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of January of January this year, and we could see a test of that line as well. But if this starts to get broken, if the downside resistance line gets broken and we see a push above the 113.30 as well, then yep, our next target here could be around the 113.50, or even going further up here, and by further up I mean this little level. Let me just quickly put that on the chart, and there we go, and that is approximately around the 113.90 level. So keep your eyes on this one, but again, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way wait until we see a nice good pop above the 113.30 level and then target higher areas. In terms of the downside here, even if we see a bit of a slide here lower, and let's say we see a drop below this 200 EMA and then below the 112.85 zone approximately here, then of course we could target this tentative upside, little short-term tentative upside support line that's running here from the lows of April, and of course we could see the pair kind of rebounding a little bit here. But to be honest, if that fails to withhold and we see a drop below the 1.1250 level, now this is where it could turn out to be a bit ugly for this pair, and we could see a further slide towards the 112 zone. So for now, guys, certainly this is looking quite somewhat bullish, but again, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way wait until we see a pop above the 113.30 level and then target higher areas. So keep your eyes on this pair. Very interesting developments here, and it is currently at a very interesting spot. It's kind of balancing. It seems that it wants to travel higher, but there are some obstacles that it would need to overcome first. AUDJPY, very interesting pair as well. So on Friday had a nice run here to the upside, finally managed to break its range, the upper side of this range that it was trading in since the beginning of this year, and of course now we're going to look at here, we're going to target higher areas. Of course we're seeing this morning a bit of retracement here back down. Don't be surprised, let's say, if we even see a good retracement back down, even all the way towards this upper side of the range in a way. So basically we could see something like this happening, where it could test the upper side of this range, of course tested from above, and then rebound and push higher again. But this could be a scenario, good possible scenario. The target that we're going to be aiming for here on the above, that's going to be 80.70 level. Now that level is marked near the lows of December here, near the lows of the 9th of December. But again, for now guys, certainly you can see that it is slightly retracing back down. The positive thing here is that it continues to trade above its pivot right now, so we may see, like I said, something like this happening, like curving up in a way. Even if it, let's say, fails to drive below the pivot, we could see that rebound earlier and a potential push higher. For those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way wait until we see a push above the recent highs here near the 80.48 zone, approximately there, and then target higher areas. But again, like I said, still we are looking, it is looking more bullish than bearish, because for us, let's say, to consider the downside again, we would need to see this one not only traveling back inside this range, but also breaking below the 79.64 level, and also breaking below this short-term tentative upside support line as well. So well, actually, I say not very tentative, but still an upside support line. So if we do see a break below that, then our next target here is going to be around the 78.90 level, 93, something like that, which is marked near the high, near the lows of the 10th of April and also the 8th of April. So keep your eyes on this one, and then if we see such a move, then we'll just take it from there, see what the pair wants to do further. But for now, it is looking quite positive here for AUDJPY overall, so keep your eyes on this one. And the last pair I want to quickly touch on for this session, and that's GBPUSD, still stuck, still watching the potential breakout levels here. So we're still going to stick to the same idea here. We're going to remain neutral and going to continue observing this, and we're going to wait for a pop above the 131.23 level here on the upside in order to kind of consider at least a further push towards the 132 zone. We're not going to bring it above that because, as you can see, that there is a range within a bigger range. So that's why if we see a break above this, above the upper side of this smaller range here, near the 131.23 zone, then yep, we'll target the 132 level. And if we see such a move, then we'll just reevaluate and see what it wants to do further. In terms of the downside, we need to see drop below the 130.55 level in order to kind of consider the next potential target near the 130.15, or even, like I said, this lower side of the wider range here, which is near the 129.75 level. So for now, guys, that's the game plan here. Continue observing these levels, these potential breakout levels, and yep, let's take it from there and see what it wants to do further. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and if you want to join me later on at my Traders Tea Time, and that's 13:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.